The U.S. and Sweden have a deep and rich cultural history, as you know, going back, 300 plus years. And more recently, in the last, 3 or 4, a very deep alternative energy partnership was formed. That partnership and that relationship grows deeper and deeper every day. And part of what we were doing in here earlier was making new connections in that partnership.
What have you found that you are going to continue to work with?
There's so much to work with, and the scale of the problem and the scale of the opportunity, whether it's biofuels or biomass or innovative heating systems or condensed solar, all these things, we need all these different solutions to take place, and the opportunities to connect ideas and things that are happening here in Sweden with ideas and opportunities back in my home in the United States are incredibly rich.
But both Sweden and US are rich countries, but there are other needs in the world.
I think the opportunity, as you point out, you'd have the United States and Sweden as two advanced and developed nations. And they also have something else in common, which is that Sweden is the number one, as I understand it, per capita donor in terms of development to developing countries outside of Sweden. The United States is number one in terms of total dollars given to development. So you have these two countries with shared cultural interests and values who are both number one in this area. So it's an area where I think there ought to be really good further collaboration where development needs and ideas meet clean energy solutions.
What have you found so far in Sweden that can change some of the future in this clean tech area?
I think we are in what I call the difference between farming and hunting. And a farming challenge is where you spread many seeds and you provide water, and then you hope they all grow, and then you harvest the fruit later. Hunting is where you sit there and you wait and you look and you look and you look, and then you try to just get one thing. And I think it's important as we approach the area of clean tech that we take a farming approach and we cultivate lots of different ideas, even though they may seem small and silly at the beginning, that if we nurture them and cultivate them, that may lead and bear significant fruit in the future. Whereas if we just hunt for the one silver bullet, let's say, we may miss the real innovation. So that's the approach I'm taking. So everything I saw in the showroom earlier today could be the potential thing.
You asked for good stories to tell. Have you found any so far?
Good stories? I did. I heard a great story. I won't say the name because I don't have permission to, but let me see if it's interesting without being able to name the protagonist. There's an interesting Swedish company who's developed a clever system that could be of good use for cities. And there's an American city that got a grant from the Federal Department of Energy as part of the America Recovery and Reinvestment Act. They got a matching grant to go install this person's technology in this U.S. city that could help build up an area and create American jobs in that city and highlight Swedish technology. So that's a good example of a partnership. It's not announced yet and they haven't sealed the deal, so I won't say the names.
We talk about success through clean tech. What's your background and how do you match this area?
My background is in internet publishing, and I joined a company called CNET as its fourth employee back in 1993. And all my friends and family said, "What's the internet? You're crazy." And everyone did think we were crazy, but we stayed at it, and every day we tried to be better and better and more useful to our readers, and then it turned into something quite big. And as I learn about alternative energy and throw myself into that world, I think it's similar. And again, we need to focus on these small ideas and really cultivate them and give them attention, because if they can take root, so to speak, they could bear very good fruit in the future.
You asked President Obama for an advice when you was appointed ambassador. What was the answer?
Yes, I sat down with President Obama before I came over to Sweden. And as a first-time diplomat, I asked him for what advice would you give a first-time diplomat? And he said one word: listen.